Myself and Behm are going to spend some time discussing our favourite topic, coaches. We love discussing whether coaches are on the chopping block or not. So today we're going to spend some time working out how hot are their seats. So we're going to try and go through this little tier list that Behm has very nicely set up in a very, very timely period. So good on you for that one. But we've got 6 different tiers. Flying, which will be for the best of the best.
Yep.
Smooth sales, which will be for guys who don't really have any problems. Okay, for maybe those in the middle, kind of so-so.
Yep.
Questions, for those guys who probably aren't looking too great, but we wouldn't say insackable.
No.
But under pressure is where all the fun begins, I reckon.
I think we'll get out the first 2. Fairly obvious.
Yes, the 2 interims.
Can't do a whole lot about these 2.
Even though I feel like you could make a very solid argument for Josh Fraser.
Yes, you could.
Interim is there for a reason. So Josh Fraser and Dean Solomon sit in interim.
Yeah.
So let's start. I guess we'll start with the first one on the left there.
Yeah.
Sammy Mitchell. Not really many problems going his way.
Not too many, but I think I'm probably leaning more towards smooth sails rather than flying. They've had a pretty good year. But I think with the over-reliance on a couple forwards to get all their damage, it's a bit questionable. Obviously, it's very difficult to stop the 2, being Jack Gunston and Nick Watson, given they're both, I think, top 5, top
they're
7
both
in
very
the
high up there.
But they're going really well. Their midfield is now starting to click with Will Day back, obviously. And things are going pretty well, regardless. And they've got a good finish to the year.
I'd argue that he's in flying. I think, considering the fact that they're sitting top 4, pretty comfortably at 3rd position at the moment. The argument is that they're not always great, but obviously he's no further below smooth sails. I'd say flying, for me at least. I think considering, top 4, I mean, he's doing very well with what he's got. He's managing to make role players fill their role in a fantastic way. He feels like the perfect modern coach, if that makes sense. So Sam Mitchell, I very much think is a flying high.
Let's do it.
Alistair Clarkson.
Now this one is strange. This one feels really weird to do because record-wise, I'd put them in okay.
Yeah, I'm leaning questions though.
Same.
Yeah, I'm leaning questions because you want to say he's okay, but the minute that they have a big loss, there's gonna be questions asked. He's keeping himself afloat, so that's the argument for okay.
Yeah,
I lean questions with you though.
100%. I just think when you look at how they play, it's very, very questionable, and it doesn't seem to stack up. And I think that's the big thing. And there's still the one glaring question. It still is defensively. It's all about not just the talent that's there, but also the system. Is it so much? Okay, we know we don't have the talent, so we're just going to play this style of football to sort of mitigate any issues with that? Or is it just, regardless, we don't have the talent to hold up? In which case, it's still a failure on both sides. Yeah,
you just ask whether the things that he's doing is either just enough or not enough.
Yeah.
And I think right now it's just enough.
Yeah.
But all it takes is a couple of losses in a row, and you'll think it's not doing enough, especially if they were to lose to a team. I think they've passed a majority of their must-wins this year, which are the teams below them.
Yeah.
But the game against Fremantle is one where you go, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
So big questions after that one. But they evidently aren't a bottom 4 side this year, is what it seems like. So
there's still improvement.
Yeah, exactly right. But questions, absolutely.
Yeah. Dean Cox.
I want to say there's another argument for flying here for me, but at the same time, there's very much some problems there, like the back line that feels wrong.
Yeah. It feels like they were 3 weeks ago, arguably, easily flying. But I feel like now it's very questionable as to how well they are going. They still are pretty safe in second at this stage. I think by 6 points. But things can change very quickly. They've already started a bit of the downfall. Obviously, they're now got a lot of injuries starting to pile up as well. But I'm probably leaning more towards smooth sails, honestly.
So am I.
I just think given how well they started, there feels like there's a significant stagnation almost.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to agree with the smooth sail side of things because, top 2, I wouldn't say is anything lower than that. Yeah. But at the same time, there's questions and there's problems that Sydney is still dealing with. Some things are out of his control, so I don't want to go any lower than smooth sails. But, in terms of what you see on the field and how they play, very hit or miss at times. Very hit or miss. So, I mean, it's still very good that a new coach is holding on to a smooth sales position at this rate.
This one's very interesting. Luke Beveridge.
He is hard for... He feels like he's always back and forth between okay and questions. Ever since 2016, he has flung between okay and questions and maybe at the worst of times under pressure. But because he is so good at adapting to any game style, despite the fact that you can still ask the questions about how their backline plays, he always finds a way to at least give them a stretch of hope.
Yeah.
They haven't found themselves like outside of the top 8 in a good while, have they?
Last time they missed the 8.
Actually, last year they were 9th, to be fair. I guess under 10th, under 11th, somewhere around there. Look, they've always found a way to be close to the top half. Most of the time they're in the middle of it. But I think considering his team consistently, despite whatever their list looks like, finds himself at least hunting finals, I think that's okay. And also the fact that they've had a really bad time with injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think this is the hardest one to go for, simply because of the fact that he does really well sometimes, but then you also look at other times where they had a 4-week stretch where they lost by 60 plus almost every single week.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, that's in like an 8-week stretch, 4 good weeks, 4 really, really bad weeks. I'm probably leaning more towards okay for this year. I think he's done a much better job. And whilst you can question some things, like you look at their percentage and it's really poor, you still got to look at their win-loss record. I think they're sitting 9-6.
Yeah.
So you got to be pretty happy with that overall.
Yeah. I think with Beveridge, everywhere he has gone, he has managed to take whatever they've had, and this isn't just AFL level, this is all levels of coaching. He has taken what they have and turned it into something either workable or thriving.
Yeah.
And I think for that, you've got to give him the respect. But if we're talking his current scenario, he's doing okay. He's doing okay.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I need to preface this with this tier list. We are not disrespecting or we're trying not to like downplay any of these guys' technical skills or anything like that. It's purely situational. It is purely situational with how these guys are doing. So Beveridge sits in okay.
Craig, Matty next.
I'm leaning the same. I think he's doing okay as well. He's
I'm
turned it around because he was
one.
under pressure, or at least had questions asked to start the year, because they were playing such a weird brand of football compared to what's working in the modern day. But he's turned it around. He's picked it up.
He has. But then you also look at what they just produced, and you're like, well, surely in one of the bigger tests, when you finally felt comfortable in a showdown, you show up arguably one of your worst performances of the year. I'm honestly leaning more towards questions because of what happened last year, and then some of the regression in aspects this year as well. I'm probably leaning more towards question because I'm just like, well, is he the man to continue going forward? Are you going to back him in to progress this list, not just the list, but the team forward? I'm probably leaning more towards questions.
Yeah. I'll give it to you. Yeah, questions. I'm completely okay with that. I think you've convinced me. The next one doesn't really need much at the moment. He was in questions for a long time, but now he's flying.
He is the definition. If there was a tier above flying, we'd make it for just Justin. Like, could we make one just called Justin Longmuir?
Goat.
Can we just do it that
goat,
way?
but like above the rest, something like that.
14 win streak.
Soaring.
14 game win streak. Just
14,
do it that way.
Yeah, 14 in a row, something like that. Not much needs to be said about Justin. He's managed to click. He's managed to get him to click this year.
Completely.
Sorry. Chris Scott as well. I mean, if we're talking legacy, at the very least, he's in the same boat as where Justin is right now. But what are we thinking about right now with Geelong? Because they're sitting 4th, but we've discussed pretty recently in a video that we posted before, he's in and amongst the pack.
He is. He is only percentage above 8th, which is really weird to say.
Well, here's the thing. If we're talking like his position, he's safe as houses.
Absolutely.
He's safe as he's going to be able to coach as long as he wants with the way that the team is going and the list that they've got. But in terms of how the season's going, I'd say they're still smooth sails.
I'd probably agree. I just think they're going well, but there still feels like a significant gap from them to the top 2. Like, even just on the ladder, they're 6 points behind Hawthorn, I think, in third, who are on 42 points. They're 5 games away from first. That is a significant gap.
Yeah, very much so. But I'd also credit that to Fremantle being just that much better than everyone else at the moment.
Absolutely. I feel like smooth sailings is the definition of Chris Scott every single time.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to when he really needs to turn it on, he's flying. Like, come finals time, they're always flying. That's just what it feels like.
At least for a period of time. They always seem to have one outside of occasional years where they win it all. But
yeah, Geelong always sail through the regular season. Smooth sails fits in perfectly.
Yeah, very true. Man, we've got a good stretch of coaches here. It's a good year for the current coaches that are employed right now.
I'm tempted to immediately just go flying.
100%. Because of the preseason expectation.
Yeah.
These guys were supposed to be bottom 4. They are fighting top 6.
And I think
they're flying.
When you consider the progression, even just in season, when you consider that they were all out attack early, it was all about their incredible ball movement. They were just going at 100 miles per hour every single quarter. Now it feels like there's a bit of a development where maybe their offense have stalled, but their defense has really ramped up. And they're now starting to quell teams significantly. And that's sort of a really good improvement. And it shows that they can play either way.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really promising thing for them.
It's another example of a coach giving a team freedom to explore what they can do on a football ground, and it working perfectly for them. So big shout out to Stephen King in his first year. McQualter.
This is an interesting one because I could make an argument for smooth sails when you consider expectation. They had
improvement.
1 win last year. They're already on 4 this year, and they have a couple winnable games. They've had some really good performances where they weren't quite able to do it, but I think the most impressive thing is they've got a definitive system and it's shown clear improvement. That's the big thing with me. They didn't know how they were playing the last couple of years. This year, it's very obvious how they want to play.
Yeah. I still don't think he's going to be at smooth sails, though.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't consider 2 100-point losses in the year.
That's fair.
Many
That's a fair
opportunities,
argument.
like lost opportunities to show up as a competitive side. Like, they've missed a lot of chances that could have really continued that improvement. Some to McQualter's just being unfortunate, and some being McQualter's doings. I'd say okay. Because, there's signs that they're getting better.
Happy to agree with that.
Craig McRae.
This is very interesting.
Very much so.
Very interesting.
Because I'm tempted to put him in questions.
I
I don't know if he's the problem.
That's the thing. That's the way I'm like, he's not the problem. If he had a better list, if he had a slightly different list, absolutely would be in arguably guaranteed okay, maybe smooth sails. But also, how much of that is on him? How much is he controlling where they're going? So I think on field, I'd be happy to just guarantee okay. But at the same time, there are no one's deciding or disagreeing that there are questions about Collingwood. It's all about the questions around Collingwood at the moment. So I think I'm leaning more towards okay, but you can't quell the fact that there are questions about them.
I think put him at the end of okay, because I genuinely believe out of the ones in okay, the one to ask the most questions about is Craig McRae, because Collingwood feel like they're further on the downturn, and it feels more and more that they rely on their highest end talent.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think there's questions to ask with him. Josh Carr is next up. It feels too early to put him in questions. But at the same time, it does feel like the team is playing incredibly uninspired at times outside of this recent week.
I'm probably leaning more towards okay. Probably the lower end of okay. But again, first season.
I was going to say, is there an argument for smooth sails because he's so early?
No, I don't think I think he's guaranteed low end of okay. To me, it's they're playing in an okay way. But again, they rely so much on 3 players that only way they win is when they have superhero performances almost.
Yeah.
So if Butters doesn't have a great game, they cannot win almost. Like that. That's the way I'm looking at it.
There's the occasional role play, like Durden's having a decent year.
Yes.
I think Joe Berry's doing all right.
He's had an improved season.
Yeah.
I'm also just looking at them like, well, the system's going okay, but they are sitting like 14th.
And you also, I think they're okay now, but I feel like when there's a reason to go to question, because what does this team look like when presumably Zach Butters is gone?
Yeah.
Because at this point, it feels like 90% Zach Butters is out the door.
Yeah.
Port Adelaide feel like their attempt to keep him has been, we'd love to have you around. It hasn't been much. And of course, the question isn't, to Josh Carr, can you keep Zach Butters? Don't think Josh Carr has too much of a chance to have a say in that. But the questions become, what does he do with the team without Zach Butters? And so that'll be interesting to see.
I'm leaning more towards okay.
Okay as well. I'm going to say okay.
Adam Yze.
Under pressure.
Has to be.
I think under pressure because his team, he's had a really unlucky run with injuries.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone can doubt that. But at the same time, I'm not looking at anything and saying, okay, this is like West Coast where, okay, we know that you don't have the genuine list or talent to be able to be good, but there's no system. There's no way of playing. There's no connection to the players where they're all in and they're just not good enough. That's what I'm looking at. And so I'm seriously questioning. He's had 3 seasons now. There's got to have been improvement, and there just hasn't been.
Yeah. And that's kind of because, he still feels very new, but it's because his team is very young. You do wish that you'd see more improvement. And I think he's going to be under pressure. But if this team doesn't show improvement by the end of next year, I think he'll make it to next year. I don't think they're going to get rid of him at the end of this year because he's trying to. I think Richmond are trying to build a young coach with a young team.
I think he definitely makes it past this year. I don't think you can really question that. But I think halfway through next year, it could be a situation if they start again.
If they go winless,
8, or whatever it is, then there'll be genuine questions being asked as to how he's still in the job because his record is abysmal.
You'd hope that maybe because they're a fighter for Zach Butters, aren't they?
They want to be.
Yeah,
they want to be.
Bring in a bit of talent, and his job could be a little safer. But yeah, I definitely think 3 years in, very much under pressure. Need to see something.
Yeah,
another one who could potentially be in there.
I don't see how he can't be in here.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't see how he can't be.
Yeah. He's got that like grit and fiery passion that you love from a coach, especially if you're an old school type. But Kingsley, he just isn't getting the results now.
No. Simple as that. And with an aging list.
Exactly.
In a really difficult situation.
Considering how inconsistent they are too.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's so much like, well, we want to get to the Orange Tsunami, but trying to get to the Orange Tsunami means we're giving up extra goals. And so our biggest strength is our biggest weakness.
I think he may be under pressure due to his circumstances big time. But at the same time, I don't know how much he can tactically change things. I really think they are just very heavily reliant on a game style, and if it's not working, they're not working. So I think there's very much an argument to be made that Kingsley could find himself without a job. Who knows how next year goes? I think he makes it to next year though. I think
I'd be leaning maybe last 3 or 4 weeks this year.
He could maybe make it to the year. I can see a world where he's let go once the season's over.
That's fair.
But I also see a world where he makes it next season to see whether they can work with a team that isn't injured beyond belief.
Ross Lyon. I'm going questions.
Yeah. How long's he been in the job for now?
This is his 4th year.
4th year. Okay. Questions because the team was supposed to look a lot better than it currently is in everyone's mind. I think we all thought that St Kilda were going to look a lot better than what they do. You probably know a lot more than what I do.
Yes.
What's your thinking?
I think they're obviously having a bit of knowledge. He's not as hands-on as people think he is. That's the first thing. Like, he's not head of game plan. He's very much just a connection with the players and sort of a front for the media. That's the way I look at him at the moment. Yeah. And he does it beautifully. I don't think anyone can question that.
Media training helps a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Him being in the media knows
how to do
it. I just think there's questions about where the improvement is coming from. I think there's also questions about the young guys and the way that they're not signing as other clubs are. They're not locking away their talent. Like, you look at Naz last year, that was a whole debacle. Darcy Wilson this year, I think, hoping in the next week or two there should be some good news out of that. Obviously, with the bye, that's a lot of times when things happen. And then you look at Travalia, you look at Taru, they haven't signed yet as first-year players a couple of years ago. You're looking at some questions. I think that's the big thing. It's 2 weeks good, 1 week bad, 2 weeks bad, 1 week good. It's just really hard to see any improvement success-wise this year. Even if there has been some better improvement performance-wise, like the Sydney game and then coming off the GWS game, you just bring up the Dogs game, and it's so questionable.
Yeah. completely agree with what you've said there. Chris Fagan, not a great year, but he's absolutely in the top 2 at the very least for me.
He can't be in flying because when you consider the
They're
bad
not flying.
4 or 5 weeks going that they had, absolutely not. But also, they're still tied on top. Like, they're still tied with Geelong in top 4. You look at the start of the year, if they go top 4, you're like, yeah, that's pretty much expectation. So I think they come up this week against Geelong, obviously recording this on the Monday beforehand. You win that, you're in the top 4 with arguably a game in hand. So I think for them, they're looking at, like, yeah.
They are high-end, okay, low-end smooth sales to me. Because smooth sale, they have definitely been questionable up until this point, but at the same time, their position right now is just a touch under where you probably would expect them. But at the same time, they know when they light back up.
Yeah.
And they know that they thrive in the finals type pressure now. So I'd say, and it's up to you, low-end smooth sales, high-end okay.
I'm going low-end smooth sales.
Yeah.
I think when you consider what Chris Scott's done, Chris Fagan's right next to him. They're 4th and 5th.
Very, very reasonable. And I think what could be your favourite, Dimmer.
Save the best for last, honestly.
Go absolutely ham. Where do you think he's going?
They've really found themselves in a difficult spot, the Suns. And I think some of that has to be put on Damien Hardwick himself.
Yeah.
When you consider they have not found a balance defensively, they have not found a balance in the midfield this year, and they have not found a balance up forward, that all lies almost onto Hardwick himself. When you consider they've gutted all of their middle-aged experienced guys who were just doing really well in their role, and they've gone fully young and fully now. They have tried to have their cake and eat it too, and they don't have 2 cakes. That's the issue.
Shock he's talking about cake.
Oh, fuck it.
Sorry, I had to.
It's a reference to Across the Spider-Verse, okay? Give me a break.
Wow.
Shut up. Like, as I said, I'm not seeing anything outstanding about the way they play. I'm not seeing anything stand out about any individuals this year.
It's honestly quite shocking how they're
really
playing. I'm actually quite shocked as to how they are outside the top 10 right now.
I don't think you can put it anywhere else but under pressure. I really don't. When you consider the experience he has had and the way he's trying to mould the same sort of team, they've failed in every aspect this year.
Yeah. One argument for questions would be it is such a heavy list turnaround compared to most teams this year that maybe he needs another year to get himself a bit of continuity with the team. So the question is, what if the team turns it around next year?
This is his 3rd year. It's not like it's his first year and he's come in with a whole lot of roster turnaround. He was on record saying 80% of this list will be in our first premiership. It should now be 100%.
Well, like we said before, they're in their premiership window.
Yep, absolutely. So under pressure is a must.
That's a pretty even out tier list.
It is.
That is a pretty even tier list indeed. So I think we've done a good job. I don't know.
I'm happy with
my biased self. I think we've done I think we've done the best job.
Oh, 100%.
We've done it again, mate. Okay. I went all in for that too, man. That's where we're going to end it. I need to get out of here. Appreciate you guys tuning into that one. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and let us know if you want to see more content like this. Be sure to subscribe to the channel as well. And follow us on all our other platforms. We've got Spotify. Follow us over there. Rate us 5 stars. And we'll see you again for another one very, very soon. Cheers, guys.